Okay. Hello everybody. Welcome to the Knit One Breathe Two podcast. My name is Alyssa, otherwise known as Planetologist, on Instagram and Ravelry. It is mid-July 2019, so that means it's time for a short make-along video with me. I tend to do that in the mid-month, and then at the end of the month I do a wrap-up of what I've been working on for that month. So this time I'm going to be knitting. I'll show you what I've done so far on the project that I'm working on. It's a little rough looking because it's been in bags and shoved places, so it's not perfectly smooth, but that's what it is. It's just a simple shawl with mohair. It's just a brown mohair and then a variegated yarn, which I think I've told you about already. I don't even know if I have the tags anymore. Let me see. No, I must have put them away somewhere. This shawl is called the Full Sail and Half Sail Shawl. There's the name of it right there. So it's meant so you can do a larger one or a smaller one. And I'm going to be kind of doing an in-between one. I'm basically, I'm going till I run out of one of the yarns. I've added a extra row in the variegated, so that's the garter stitch, and then the other one is the stockinette stitch. Let me see, is there anything about this that you need to know? It is by Bantry yarns, so that's how you can find it on Ravelry if you're interested. I did not get this off of Ravelry. I actually got it in a yarn shop in a kit, so I assume you can find it on Ravelry. So it's a fairly nice knit that doesn't need a lot of thought because, as you can see, it's basically switching between garter and stockinette between the two yarns. And it's supposed to be kind of like an elongated triangle shape. So if you take a look at this picture right here, it's not the greatest, but because it's a little small, but you can kind of get an idea. It's basically a really, really, really big triangle. For the half sail shawl, you're supposed to at one point stop doing the triangle and then just do a rectangle out, and I'm not sure if I'll do that. I think I'll just do the triangle until I run out of yarn. So that's what I've been working on this month, basically. It's been a couple weeks now into my summer vacation. For those of you who are new, hello, and for those of you who aren't, but I am a high school teacher, so that means I get the summers off. So I I just need to make sure I get started on the right thing here. I have 2 months off, so that's nice, of course. Something weird has happened already. But I still don't feel super relaxed yet, and I'll talk about that in a bit. Maybe in my next video, I'll be talking about some strategies I've been using for relaxation and lowering my anxiety and stress. I have made a little bit of progress in that area, so I'll talk about that next time. Okay, so let's see. So I'm working on this. This has really been the only knitting project I've been working on since the end of June, since I last podcasted. And I've picked up a little bit about my cross stitching. So I was working on my shades of orange a little bit this morning. I worked a little bit on my moonlit cabin at one point, but I've been finding it really hard to get my crafting mojo back. I know it's the end of the school year, so I'm tired, and I remember this from last year. It took a week or two for me to really get back into my crafting, and then I was all in all the time kind of thing. But this year has been a bit different because the first week back from, or sorry, first week on vacation from school, I was at home with the boys. And so that was a bit of a transition time. We're all at home. They're still tired. I'm still tired. So it was, finding things to do, trying to come up with a routine. And at the same time, my husband was away and we were trying to get ready for a trip. So within the first week of us being off of school, we went to Bermuda, which was fantastic. So I'm going to talk about that now because it was really lovely. We went with my husband's parents and then his sister, her husband, and their daughter. So there were 9 of us. And we went because it was my husband's parents' 50th. Sorry, I have a tickle nose. Their 50th wedding anniversary. So they really wanted to get their family together, get the cousins together. They don't know each other very well because we don't live very close to them. Don't get to see them that often. And us to spend time with my husband's sister and her husband. So it was lovely. We stayed at an all-inclusive in Bermuda. And I've never done that before. I've never done an all-inclusive before. And it was really nice. Not having to cook, not having to clean, not worrying about meals or anything like that. Part of the all-inclusive was bus passes for the Bermuda transit system, which was quite good. Taxis would have been very expensive to travel around Bermuda, so it was nice to have the bus pass, and so that was a nice way to get around. We did spend quite a bit of time at the resort because, the ocean's right there. It had a pool. It had these really cool caves that you could go explore. You could rent equipment from the dive shop on site, and all that stuff was included in the package that we had. So the kids were able to take out life jackets and snorkeling gear. We took out kayaks and paddle boards and stuff like that. So yeah, it was really good. It was very relaxing. We went into Hamilton one day and just kind of bummed around. I found a yarn shop there that's called the Black Pearl, and it was very cute. It almost felt like a cave itself, which was kind of neat. Luckily I was able to get there. They had reduced hours because I believe the owner at the time was on vacation herself, so it was only open for 3 hours a day, 3 times a week, because she was having other people look after the shop for her. I'm just gonna make sure I'm gonna do this row right. Okay. Yeah, and it was very cute. It was very small. Not a huge selections of yarn, but I mean, it's Bermuda, right? Everything has to get imported there. But I did find some yarn from a local dyer called Shipwrecked Yarns Bermuda or something like that. If you look up Shipwrecked, it'll come up. I believe she's no longer dyeing yarn anymore, or she has moved or something, because if you look her up on Instagram, her last post was from 2018. And the person at the store let me know that the stock that they had left of her yarn, which was I think maybe 5 or 6 skeins at the time, was all they had left, and they couldn't get any more. So I managed to get a skein of her yarn. I'll show that in my next podcast when I do acquisitions and stuff, but it's lovely. And then I got another skein of self-striping yarn, which again I'll show you. What else did we do in Hamilton? We took a city trolley tour, so that was fun. And that took us to an ocean museum where we learned a lot about ocean exploration and stuff about like seashells and stuff around there. Of course, they had a Bermuda Triangle area, which the kids really liked. So it was quite nice, and the tour guide, she was a young woman and she did very well. She was excellent, so that was good. So we did that for a couple hours. So we spent one day in Hamilton, and then another day we went to St. George's, which was on the other end of the island. Bermuda's very small. If you've never been there, I think it's only about 12 or 15 miles long, and then it's only about a mile or so wide. So it's a very small island. The population is about 60 or 70,000 people. So we went to St. George's, that's on the northern tip, I believe, and bummed around there. I did find a yarn shop there, but didn't buy anything because I had bought the yarn otherwise. And it was more of like a workhorse kind of yarn shop. Like it was a lot of acrylics and stuff like that. But it's nice that it was there. It actually had some cross-stitch patterns, which I was very tempted by. But considering how much stuff I haven't been doing lately, I didn't go for another one there. And then once we were in St. George's, we took a ferry ride down to the docks, which is on the south end of the island. And the ferry ride was only about 45 minutes. And the dock area is where the cruise ships port. So we saw a couple cruise ships there, and then we walked around a historical museum that had like this beautiful fort and this beautiful officers' house. I don't know if it wasn't really a house, like it was a large building, but it had all this old beautiful history in it, so that was kind of really cool. Okay, I think I'm row 4, so that means I need to do a increase row. So excuse me as I figure out what I'm doing here. I'm finding with mohair, it's hard to do an increase. I don't love knitting with it, I gotta say. Kudos to people who could make entire sweaters out of this stuff, because I find it very frustrating to knit with. Not frustrating is not the word. It's fiddly. But it's starting to look better as I work with it more, so that's good. The first time I cast this on, I used the called for needle and it looked awful, to be honest, because I didn't just drop a stitch, did I? I have no idea. Sorry, I'm trying to do 2 things at once here, and I haven't done this in a long time. Yeah, the first time I did this shawl, the first time I cast it on, I did it with size 8 needles or something, whatever it calls for, and it was way too big. Like it was just messy. It looked messy. So I went down a couple needle sizes. US sizes, don't ask me millimeters. And it's looking a lot better. So yeah, back to Bermuda. So we did the docks and the historical fort there. That was really cool. And then the last couple days we just hung around the resort because we knew the kids would want to be spending a lot of time in the ocean and exploring and stuff. So and they had a really, really good time. I don't think I'll go back. Myself nor my husband are very tropical island getaway beach kind of people. So, I mean, if we're gonna do that again, we could go somewhere else, right? There's no need to go back. The island was interesting, but not interesting enough to make a return trip. There's a lot of places on the planet that I would like to visit, so I don't think we would go back, but I still recommend it as a place to visit if you can. I do not know how expensive the resort was because my in-laws paid for the trip. So I can't give you any insights as to the cost it would be to go there. Anyway, but yeah, so that was nice. We got back just a couple days ago, and now this week my kids are in a summer camp, so I get to be home on my own, which definitely helps to recharge my batteries because I'm feeling like I still need to do that since school ended, because even though vacation, it was more of a vacation than normal because I didn't have to cook and clean, but it still takes it out of you, right? You're busy and doing stuff all the time, so you know how it is. You can just need a vacation from your vacation sometimes. So let's talk about my knitting mojo, my crafting mojo. I don't know what's going on with it. I mean, okay, here's where I am in my crafting mojo pattern, I guess, my wave of it. Right now, I like looking at patterns and I'm like, ooh, that would be fun to knit. I like looking at yarn, and then if I'm buying yarn, like I bought a skein of Mothy and the Squid yarn just on a whim. Yesterday I bought Must Stash yarn, their new Woodstock colorway that she posted, or they posted yesterday. Looked beautiful. I couldn't resist. So I have those skeins coming just for fun. I keep having this idea that I'm going to knit all these socks, but I haven't cast any on. So I don't know. I have it in me to think about knitting, but I haven't really done a lot. I think part of the problem is I have a lot of these projects that are just sitting there that I haven't touched, and I want to finish them, but I also want to cast on new things, and so it's just this almost feeling guilty that I should finish the things that I've started, or else I'm never going to finish them. Like that Tegna is just, I haven't touched it in ages. My So Faded, I kind of wish I didn't stop. I got the body done. I just have the sleeves left and then the collar. But I stopped it because I wanted to cast on the Tegna and get that done. But clearly that hasn't been happening. So now my So Faded is also sitting there with no sleeves. So, I don't know. I'm just feeling blah right now. Like I'm not like, oh, I gotta knit, and I love, it almost feels like a chore right now. So I don't know. I thought maybe taking some time off would make me feel better, and I'm also doing this project, which isn't all that interesting, right? It's a bit of a boring knit. It's, a shawl, which I'm not all that excited about. I have a ton of shawls. Well, not a ton. I think I have 5 or 6 shawls that I've knit. And I have a ton in my queue, right? Because they're all so pretty and I want to make them all. But then I'm like, ooh, they all take a really long time. And then am I actually going to wear these? So I'm not sure why I started this. Well, I started it because it's easy. So, but I'm not like, oh, I really want to get this done because I really want to wear it. Like it's just something to do right now with my hands. So that's kind of where I am with my knitting. I guess I'm not feeling excited about any of my projects right now. It's more like when I think about going to do the Tegna, I'm like, oh, that's going to be so tedious. And then the So Faded, I have to do the arms and I hate picking up stitches. So I don't know. I just need to like get over it and just do it. I don't know. Maybe I should just rattle off a pair of socks, like a pair of shorties or something. I have some really fun self-striping yarn, and that's always fun to do, but I don't know. I don't mind doing this, and what I've been doing is listening to Michelle Obama's book while I've been knitting and cross-stitching, so it's almost like my knitting and cross-stitching has become secondary to listening to her book because it's so interesting. At least I get to do 2 things at once that way, which is really nice. I haven't been watching any podcasts, haven't been really much on Instagram or like in the Facebook crafting groups that I'm in. It's just, maybe I'm just kind of crafted out right now. I don't know. Do you ever get in those kind of funks? I know we've talked about this before, and I'm sure it'll pass, but it's just, I don't know. Because I look at all this yarn that I have, and I'm like, I just want this stuff made, you know what I want? But I don't want to take the 3 months it's going to take to make one shawl. That's part of the problem with knitting, is that I think I'll make things way more faster than I thought. You're like, oh, I want this sweater, and then you realize it takes 6 months to make a sweater because job and kids and life, and you want to do other stuff too, like, I have other things going on in my life, so I'm sorry if this sounds like I'm just complaining about my horrible life with my excessive privilege to be able to stay home and knit all day long. I'm sorry, I really am. That must sound really obnoxious to a lot of people. Okay. So anyway, we will see how it goes. I'm hoping maybe some of the yarn that I've gotten recently for some smaller projects. I've got my boys to pick up some yarn, pick out some yarn for hats, for new winter hats for them. So hopefully that'll, those are small projects. So I think I'm just wanting to get something done, but I also don't want to start new things because then means I have more things. I'm talking in circles. Anyway, I mean, this project's going nicely. It's nice and easy. I think it will be really nice when it's done. It's super light, so it could be a shawl that one might wear on a cool summer evening kind of thing, when the air starts getting a little cooler at night. That doesn't happen so much here. I grew up in Calgary where it really cooled off in the night, and this would be kind of nice for that. But once in a while we have a cool day here, and this could be something like that, or for a nice day like that, or when the fall comes, something to wrap around. It's nice. It's really nice and light, like weight-wise. So you could envision yourself wearing it when it's, still warm outside. And it's super soft. That's one thing I'm loving about the mohair. It's really soft. And then the other yarn that I got is also really soft. So that makes it a nice light shawl, which on my other shawls, even though they're fingering weight, they're pretty substantial, right? I mean, I wear them in the winter as scarves and what have you at work. So they're not really conducive for warm weather wearing. So this will be a nice option for when it's warmer. Or I'll just give it away. I don't know. Like, who knows? Because I have so many things I want to knit. Tell me, what are the things that you're like super excited to knit soon? Is there a pattern that you're just super excited to start, or what are you working on right now that's making you really excited? I know, Verena, I see you're working on lots of socks, lots of self-striping yarn I've seen on your Instagram feed. I've seen some, Lisa, are you still doing some crop tops and sweaters? You seem to be racing through those. And Rosalba, you had a ton of beautiful tops done for the warm weather, Cal. Like, you guys are just cranking this stuff on. Meanwhile, I still have 1.5 inches on my Tegna. I really want to get it done though, because I think it's so pretty. I see finished Tegnas and I'm like, oh, I just want mine done. It's so pretty. And I love the burnt orange color that I chose because I know that it looks good on me, and like it's just such a nice, light, lovely looking top, but I just can't get past this lace section. I figure once I get past that though, it should be easy peasy. For those of you who've done the Tegna, what length of sleeves did you do? I'm thinking I'll just do a cap sleeve similar to this top, right? Like a little sleeve, but I don't want it really long because I have a lot of sweaters that have, you know, half length, quarter length, 3/4 length sleeves, full length. So it'd be nice to have one that has like a cap sleeve. I'm thinking of leaving my so faded like that just so I don't have to do the sleeves. Hold on here, I need to do one more purl and then knit. So let's see, I think that's about it from my end. We went on our trip. I'm trying to just kind of collect myself from the school year. Every once in a while I start catching myself thinking about next school year, but I'm trying to force myself not to do any major thinking or work for the month of July. So at least I have a month off of thinking about stuff. Okay, this is my last knit row, I guess. Or is it? Maybe that was my last. Huh. 1, 2, 2. Anyway, yeah, that might be it for that. Or I might do one more. I can't tell. I can't tell if I need one more repeat or not. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. I'm sorry that this has been such a complainy make-along. I hope you at least enjoyed me talking about the trip. Please share with me your joy of your crafting. Maybe I'll glob onto it and it'll make me excited about crafting. But anyway, I will try to be happier next time. So I'll see you in about 2 weeks when I do an update in July. Maybe I'll have some more stuff done. And I'll show you what I got in Bermuda and some other stuff too. And we'll go from there. So I hope in the next couple weeks you're able to get lots of crafting done if you want, because if you don't, that's okay. But don't forget to breathe too. Bye.